This morning, a 52-year-old woman told me something that broke my heart. Walter, she said, I've been analyzing every message, every emoji, every response time from this man for the past 3 months. I barely sleep anymore. How is it possible that at my age, I still don't know whether he likes me or not? And I told her exactly what I want to tell you today. If you have to become a detective to figure out whether someone likes you, then you already have your answer. Because after more than 20 years of listening to stories from intelligent, successful, mature women who suddenly turn into insecure teenagers when waiting for a text, I've come to an uncomfortable but necessary realization. We have normalized emotional suffering. We've accepted the idea that love must be confusing, complicated, and full of mixed signals. But that's simply not true. True love is the opposite of confusion. Today, I want to share with you something I've learned from countless conversations like these. Text messages never lie. They're transparent windows into a person's true intentions. And once you learn how to read them correctly, you'll never again get lost in that emotional fog that drains so much of your energy. Because the truth is, we no longer have time for games. No more energy for emotional puzzles. We now understand that our time is precious and that we deserve clarity, not guessing games. We deserve men who know what they want and who can communicate it without hurting us. So today I'm going to give you 14 signs that will change forever the way you interpret messages, 10 that reveal genuine interest, and 4 warning signals you should never ignore. And I'm not telling you this from a romantic theory, but from clinical experience. Let's begin with the first sign, something many women underestimate. When a man is truly interested in you, he doesn't need a reason to text. He says good morning because he woke up thinking of you. He asks how your day was because he genuinely cares. He starts conversations without any hidden agenda, expecting nothing in return, simply because he wants to connect with you. And here's something fascinating from male psychology. When a man is genuinely interested, he doesn't count words, plan tactics, or calculate response times. There's a natural ease. I call it communication from emotional abundance, a steady, effortless consistency. And that consistency is the language of mature love. Again and again, I see the difference between men who are sincerely interested and those who are merely passing time. Superficial conversations are the hiding place of those who don't want to engage emotionally. A man who truly wants to know you goes far beyond "how are you?" or "what are you doing right now?" He asks about your dreams, your fears, what moves and inspires you. He wants to discover your inner world, not just skim the surface of your calendar. And here comes one of the most powerful lessons from my practice. There is a massive difference between someone who knows you and someone who truly sees you. If a man is genuinely interested, he remembers the important details of your life. The big meeting on Tuesday, your concern about that medical test, the tough conversation with your sister. Not because he has an extraordinary memory, but because you matter to him. Neuroscience explains this clearly. Our brain remembers what is emotionally significant to us. If someone recalls the details of your life, it's because their mind, conscious or not, prioritizes everything that has to do with you. That's an unmistakable sign that you hold a meaningful place in his emotional and mental world. And let me tell you something I've seen time and again. A man with real interest doesn't wait for a free moment to text you. He integrates you into his daily life. He tells you he's stuck in traffic, that his boss is stressing him out, that he's just heard a song he loves. He shares the small moments of his day, not just the highlights. I call this the intimacy of the ordinary. When someone shares the seemingly unimportant details of their day with you, they are inviting you into their real world, not a polished version of themselves. Without words, they're saying, I want you to be part of it. All of it. Even the everyday parts. And here's something many women overlook. A man who respects your emotional intelligence doesn't leave you in the dark. If he can't reply right away, he tells you. He doesn't vanish without a word or leave you on read as if your message didn't matter. He writes, going into a meeting, I'll message you after. Or, I'll be offline for a bit, but we'll talk later. That's not extraordinary love. That's basic courtesy. But we live on a time when even the simplest consideration has become so rare that we mistake it for a grand romantic gesture. No, my dear, that is the minimum you should expect from anyone who claims to care about you. And now for the next sign, let's talk about one of the clearest indicators of emotional connection: shared laughter. When a man sends you things he knows will make you laugh, memes only the two of you understand, inside jokes you've created together, he's showing you that he thinks of you throughout his day. That his first reaction when he sees something funny is, I have to send this to her. Because laughter, from a clinical perspective, is the language of emotional intimacy. It's the most natural way to build complicity, a shared world, that us against the world feeling that defines strong, lasting relationships. And this brings me to another key point. Real compliments go far beyond appearance. An emotionally mature man doesn't just tell you that you're beautiful. He tells you he admires the way you think, that your view of life fascinates him, that he loves your energy, your inner light, your ability to handle conflict with grace. He sees your whole being, not just your looks. Because here's the truth. Any man can tell you you're pretty, but only someone who truly sees you, who looks beyond the surface, can compliment your personality, your character, your essence. And let me share one more thing that many mature women underestimate. Emojis and affectionate expressions are not superficial when they come from a genuine place. A man who sends hearts, smileys, or little tender symbols is expressing affection in the language available to him. It doesn't matter how old he is or how serious he usually appears, true affection always finds a way to express itself. In our digital age, a single emoji placed at the right moment can sometimes say more than 1,000 carefully written words. Now let's move to a particularly revealing signal, one I see again and again. When a man is truly interested, he needs to know whether you're emotionally available. He rarely asks this directly, but he finds subtle ways to figure it out. He'll say things like, your boyfriend must be proud of you, or I'm sure you're not alone often, or someone like you must have a full calendar. These are indirect, almost shy attempts to assess the situation, to discover whether he even has a chance with you, or if he's building castles in the air. It's his way of protecting himself emotionally, while cautiously exploring whether the path is worth pursuing. And finally, perhaps the clearest sign of all, a man with genuine interest will not settle for an eternal virtual relationship. He creates opportunities to see you in person. He suggests having coffee, taking a walk, doing things together. He looks for reasons to meet you in real life. Because deep down he knows something many have forgotten. Real relationships are built through physical closeness, through chemistry that only reveals itself when two people share the same space, through conversations that flow naturally when there's no screen between them. A man who truly wants to know you will do everything he can to move from the digital world into the real one with you.
He will risk rejection. He will accept the uncertainty of that first meeting. He will bet on the possibility of something real. Now let's talk about the other side. The 4 signs that should set off all your internal alarms. Those red flags your intuition already senses, but your mind keeps trying to justify. The first red flag, and perhaps most painful, is short, emotionally flat replies. You open up. You share something personal, something meaningful, and he responds with a cold, okay, cool, or nice. That is not shyness. It's not just how men are. It's emotional indifference. It's his silent way of saying that what you feel, what you experience, what's important to you doesn't resonate with him. And here's something that keeps breaking my heart in practice. Smart, capable women making excuses for this kind of behavior. He's just not very expressive. Men have a hard time with emotions. No, my dear. If someone truly wants a connection with you, they'll always find a way to make you feel it. The second red flag, messages that come only at night or in the early morning hours. If all your conversations happen after 10 or 11 p.m., if his affectionate or suggestive texts appear only when the world is asleep, that's not coincidence. He's not seeking a deep connection. He's not interested in building something real or lasting. He's looking for nighttime company, late entertainment, someone to fill an emotional void, but not to share a genuine bond. A man who truly wants a relationship with you texts you at 3 p.m. to ask how your day is going. He calls you on a Sunday morning just to hear your voice. He reaches out when life is happening, not only when loneliness strikes. The third red flag, sadly more common than ever, is an early request for intimate photos or sexual content. If someone asks you for sensual pictures before any real emotional closeness has developed, before he's earned your trust, before he's shown respect for who you are as a whole person, he's revealing exactly what matters to him. He's not interested in your thoughts, your dreams, your fears, your hopes. He's interested in your body, in momentary gratification, in a curiosity that has nothing to do with genuine connection. And this is especially vital for us women who've lived enough to understand that our sexuality is a gift. It belongs in spaces where there is trust, respect, and emotional reciprocity, not as a trade for attention. And finally, the fourth red flag, perhaps the most common and certainly one of the most frustrating, is disappearing for days, then returning with elaborate excuses. I didn't see your message. My phone was broken. I've been under so much stress. My app wasn't working right. We live in a world where we are constantly online. No one is too busy to send a quick, I'll get back to you later. When someone disappears without explanation, it's not bad timing. It's a message in itself. It's saying you're not a priority. And that, my dear, is all you need to know.
Everyone sees their messages. Everyone has their phone with them almost always. If someone doesn't respond for days, it's not because he couldn't. It's because he chose not to. This is what I call passive withdrawal, one of the cruelest forms of emotional communication. A way of telling you that you're not a priority without saying it outright, keeping the door slightly open so you don't leave completely, but never opening it wide enough for you to actually step in. Passive withdrawal is more painful than honest rejection because it keeps you in emotional limbo, waiting, hoping, investing in someone who already decided not to invest in you. And now comes something you should deeply anchor in your heart and mind. Long silences, constantly late replies, repeated excuses these are not coincidences. They are conscious decisions. They are silent messages telling you you are not important enough in my emotional life. Because if someone truly wants you, if you truly matter to him, you won't need to decode signals, analyze communication patterns. You no longer wonder if he likes you or if he's interested. You know, you feel it. It's clear. It's consistent. It's as obvious as daylight. Mature love, real love, doesn't play hide and seek. It doesn't make you guess. It doesn't make you anxious, uncertain, or feel like you're walking on eggshells. It gives you emotional certainty. Peace, that deep feeling that you can let go because you know exactly where you stand in that person's life.
And this is especially important for us women, who've been through enough to know emotional insecurity is neither romantic nor exciting. It's exhausting. It's toxic. It's a waste of time, energy we could invest in ourselves or in relationships that truly nourish us. If someone makes you an option, gives you only crumbs of attention, makes you feel like you constantly have to earn his interest, then he's showing you exactly where he stands on his list of priorities. And that place, my love, is not the one you deserve. Because you are not a plan B, not a maybe, not a way to pass time. You are a whole woman with life experience, emotional wisdom, and so much to give the world. And you deserve to be the first choice for someone who recognizes your worth. True love needs no interpretation, no deep analysis, no elaborate justifications. It's like the sunrise. When it happens, you don't need an explanation. You just know a new day has begun. You feel it in your whole being. It's clear, natural, comforting. So next time you catch yourself analyzing every message, searching for hidden signs in every dot and emoji, deciphering response times, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself a fundamental question. Should I really have to spend this much mental energy to figure out if someone likes me? Or am I just trying to convince myself that there's something meaningful where probably there is nothing? Am I investing more energy in analyzing this person than he is in genuinely getting to know me? Your intuition, that inner voice you've developed through life experience, already knows the answers. Your wise heart already knows who truly values you and who is just using you to fill his own emotional voids. And here's something you should remember. Well, in my clinical work, I found that women who've been through divorces, painful breakups, or toxic relationships often develop a kind of emotional hypervigilance. They become experts at spotting danger signs, but sometimes lose the ability to recognize safety too. If you're one of those women who's been hurt, it's very likely your nervous system is tuned to danger. Your brain is trying to protect you, and that's why it sometimes interprets neutrality as rejection or patience as disinterest. It's an emotionally understandable survival mechanism. But here's what you need to know. Healing doesn't mean becoming blind to red flags. Healing means learning to distinguish between healthy caution and emotional paranoia. It means staying alert without living in a constant state of alarm. And that brings me to something I often observe. Many mature women have developed what I call toxic tolerance. They've normalized behaviors that are, in truth, unacceptable. They've lowered their standards so much that even the smallest bit of attention feels like a grand gesture. If you recognize yourself in this, I want you to know it's not your fault. Society taught us to be grateful for any male attention, especially when we're no longer in our 20s. We were led to believe that our value decreases with age, that we should settle for less, that we should be more forgiving of men who treat us poorly. That is a lie, a destructive lie that you need to erase from your thinking. Your worth as a woman has no expiration date. Your right to be treated with respect, affection, and genuine care doesn't diminish with age. It grows because now you have the wisdom to know what you truly deserve. Let me tell you something. A 63-year-old client once told me, "Walter, I spent 40 years waiting for men to change for me. Today, I know the only change that needed to happen was mine. I had to change my standards, rethink my expectations, and end my tolerance for the unacceptable." And now comes something you should deeply anchor in your heart and mind. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean becoming suspicious or bitter. It means developing what I call relationship intelligence.
One of the most valuable skills you can develop is the ability to quickly and clearly assess whether someone is a good emotional investment. Because that's exactly what relationships are, emotional investments. You invest your time, your energy, your affection, your hope. And just like with any wise investment, you must evaluate whether there's a realistic chance of return, or if you're simply pouring your emotional capital into a bottomless pit. A man who sends mixed signals, keeps you uncertain, and makes you guess his intentions is a bad investment. It doesn't matter how attractive he is, how successful he seems, or how good he looks on paper. If he cannot give you emotional clarity, he does not deserve your investment. And here's something I consider fundamental. We mature women have a massive advantage over younger ones. We no longer crave male validation. We no longer confuse intensity with intimacy, drama with passion, or possessiveness with love. We know the difference between someone who truly wants us and someone who merely needs us, between someone who chooses us consciously and someone who clings to us out of fear of being alone, between someone who strengthens us and someone who drains us. And let me tell you something else, something sacred. Your intuition, that inner voice shaped by years of experience, is your most powerful guide. That uneasy feeling in your gut when something feels off, that restlessness when words don't match actions, that quiet tug that whispers, "Something's not right here." That's not insecurity. That's wisdom. Don't rationalize it away with phrases like, "I'm probably overreacting," or "I'm just too sensitive." Your intuition is the product of thousands of micro-observations your brain has recorded and processed without you even realizing it. It's not paranoia. It's information. And I've seen it time and time again. Women who learn to trust that intuition, who dare to act on their feelings, not just their logic, are the ones who end up in the healthiest, most fulfilling relationships. Because experience has taught them to recognize the difference between real love and convenient attention, between someone who sees you as a whole person and someone who sees you as a temporary distraction, between someone who wants to build with you and someone who's merely passing time until something better comes along. So trust what you know. Trust what you've learned. Trust the wisdom that only a lived life can give you. Trust that you deserve something real, something lasting, something that nourishes your soul and steadies your heart. Because when love is genuine, when it's mature, mutual, and kind, you don't need to become an emotional detective to recognize it. You simply live it. You feel it. You enjoy it. And you rest in the peace of knowing that finally you are exactly where you're meant to be. And if, after all this, you realize you're in a situation where you have to guess feelings, decode intentions, justify silence, or downplay your longing for clarity, then please ask yourself one honest question. Wouldn't all this energy be better invested in yourself, in your growth, in your emotional well-being, in your own happiness, in the open space you can create for someone who will never make you doubt your worth, not even for a second? Because at the end of the day, my love, it's not about simply finding someone. It's about finding someone who deserves you, who recognizes your worth without you having to explain it, who treats you with the respect you have long known you deserve. And whether you meet that person or choose, for now, to be alone rather than poorly accompanied, remember this: you are whole, exactly as you are. You don't need male validation to feel valuable. You don't need a relationship to feel complete. You need a relationship that enriches your life, not one that makes you question yourself. Because true love, the love you deserve, doesn't come wrapped in confusion or uncertainty. It comes with crystal clear presence, with comforting steadiness, with the deep inner peace of knowing that finally you are exactly where you're meant to be.